Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our last 1 hour coverage on the markets, how they behave in the closing 60 minutes of trade. You have slight weakness now for the third day as far as markets are concerned. 25,758 on the Nifty, trading near its day's lows. There is a 98-point downtick on Nifty Bank. Remember, tomorrow is a holiday on Indian markets on account of Gandhi Jayanti, and for that reason, you have the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty pulled a day in advance. So that's the reason why you see a mild downtick on the Bank Nifty, although some of the stocks within the index are doing phenomenally well, in particular Kotak Bank. But we'll come to it a little later. IT is holding the fort within the Nifty as well, and the index itself is up 377 points, 42,322. In the broader market, ladies and gentlemen, today you have a quiet day ahead of a holiday. And of course, this week being one of those sessions where sustained rises over the last 3 continuous weeks is now resulting in profit booking. Out of the 19 indices we tracked for you, just 5 are in the green, led by the media and the small cap 100 index. But overall, the situation seems to be sort of slipping towards profit booking. The Nifty Energy Index down 0.7%, a 0.5% downtick on real estate stocks via the index. FMCG counters are weak. Hindustan Unilever 40 rupees lower, 29.19, and the FMCG index slipping 0.33% lower. Within the index heavyweights, the top losing counter is Hindustan Unilever. Weakness persists in Tata Motors, 966 now, 8.5 rupees lower. Reliance slipping another 18 rupees for you, 29.35. ITC down 2.5 rupees. What's actually holding the fort are 2 stocks, Kotak Mahindra Bank and of course Infosys. Both these counters are doing phenomenally well, in particular Kotak. What we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a word with Kunal Rambia on Kotak. He's joining us. He's the founder of The Streets. This is technically chartist oriented company, and Kunal is with us. Good afternoon to you, Kunal. A very quick view on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Is the worst behind us? The stock is now coming out of a 4-year hiatus. What are the medium term charts of Kotak telling you?
Good afternoon, Shell sir. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Yes, as you rightly mentioned, seems like the worst is over for Kotak at least. If you look at the entire downtrend which we saw from November 2021 so far, there was a clear downtrend line channel which we saw as a breakout 3 weeks back, somewhere on 16th of September, and that breakout was retested yesterday, and today is the reversal from that zone. I think more or less we are done with the negative side on the Kotak Bank. If someone wants to play positional, I think this counter is offering that favorable risk reward ratio. So with the stop loss of around 1840, one can certainly initiate a buy on this. And the targets, now I'm setting up a very huge target on this, which is as high as May 2023 high, which is 2000 levels, and above that we can expect the levels of 2150 to 2175. So yeah, it's a extremely favorable risk reward offering counter, and one of the best in the entire banking space.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is this brief respite that Kotak has shown over the last 10-15 days, but remember, since December 2020 the stock has done nothing, and I must emphasize this before raising any expectations, that in October of 2021 the stock was at 2253, and for the last 4 years this is something that has been one of the most how should I say disappointing counters as far as returns are concerned. Nothing wrong with the bank, although it has its share of problems with the Reserve Bank of India, but who doesn't? But let me give you this wonderful data that I have as far as Kotak is concerned. This should put it in the perspective which it truly deserves. Kotak Bank, ladies and gentlemen, is down, has returned just how should I say 6.8% in 1 year, 1% in 3 years, and that sort of gives you an idea. Just a 1% return in the last 3 years from Kotak Mahindra Bank. So one has to be skeptical when one looks at Kotak, and this is against the backdrop of a rate cut on Wall Street, where a 50 basis point of cut was initiated, and that was the day on September 18th that you had some hopes resurfacing. On September 18th, the counter was priced at somewhere like 1840, but the rally had begun somewhere like 1770. Okay, this is one stock that I needed to highlight from my side. But Kunal, according to you, two stocks that look good on charts, where would you stick your neck out on the long side despite the weakness that we are seeing in the market?
So, Shell sir, the first counter is the Crompton Greaves. Now, typically on Crompton, what observation which I have created today is that if you look at the daily chart, somewhere the counter was in uptrend, and the previous bottom was somewhere made on 6th of August. That low on the futures was 416. From there, we saw the counter going up to 485, and it retested that 416 mark in last 3 days. Today's low is 417, and see the right now the price is trading at around 435. That's holding the previous bottom, and the trend still remains intact. So with that observation, I think one can go long on Crompton. The stop loss, the positional stop loss on this can be 415, and the first target can be 455 followed by 475. That's a positional target. And the second counter which I like the most at this point in time, sir, is Ramki Infra. Now again, I have been recommending this counter on our channel since quite a long time, only because it is in sideways consolidation, offering good risk reward. Look at the support. Yesterday's bottom and today's bottom are almost the same. 660 seems to be the strong support, and on the higher side we have resistance at around 720. So from the channel trade perspective, with the stop loss of 650, one can initiate a buy. 660, one can initiate a buy, and the target can be 720, and above 720, I think the targets can be as high as 775 to 780.
Okay, this is the view that is coming in on two fundamentally strong stocks which are doing pretty well on technical charts. Kunal, this downtrend that we are experiencing on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty in particular, does it worry you? Are there signs that the market has topped out for 2024? Do you see any movement beyond 26 to 50? And what would be a good support level to come back into equities on the Nifty?
So Shell sir, now again, because we follow the trend, and if you look at the trend, overall trend from bottom of 2023, March 2023, where the Nifty was trading at around 17,000, from that level, the trend is very, very strong, and unless and until Nifty goes down by 2,000 points more, I will not really be worried about. But if you look at the shorter term trend, which we can see from the bottom of June 2024, which is at around 21,900 to the recent peak of 26,000, that was a very steep rally. Now in that steep rally, the corrections are also going to be sharp and severe. For now, the support which is on the trend line, on the chart based on the trend line, is 25,600. By any chance, if Nifty manages to fall below 26,600, 25,600 to 25,500, then I think we can expect the further correction of around 1,500 points. But again, I will not really be calling this as the final top unless and until we can see a series of lower top, lower bottoms coming. So on Nifty, I think even if 1,000 points correction comes in, I will think of buying the trending counters again. But yes, the rally was very steep, so correction is very much due.
Okay, fair point. That is the view that is coming on the Nifty. Kunal, a little deeper is the small cap index. Of course, you see this a bit of a relief rally coming in after 5 days of sustained selling. Among the four major indexes, Nifty, Bank Nifty, Midcap 100 and Midcap small cap 100, which do you think has the weakest chart strength? Where do you think are breakdowns likely coming in?
So, if you look at the recent correction, obviously in last 2 days, Bank Nifty has fallen a much. In fact, it has not really rallied like Nifty, but yeah, the correction was severe. And where we are right now on the chart, as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, so we saw the breakout of around 52,700. That was the peak of somewhere July, mid of July 2024. We are back to the same level. So by any chance, if there is a further correction here, I think Bank Nifty will take a nosedive first compared to all other indices. So if I were to find out shorting opportunities, I will go ahead with banking sector as of now. I will not really be worried much about the other indices as I'm worried for Bank Nifty right now. I think Bank Nifty support, immediate support is also near to 51,200 levels. So even from the present level, the correction can be like almost 1500 points, and which can be in just no time, because we have seen the quick rallies coming in Bank Nifty compared to other indices. So yes, among four, I think Bank Nifty is well poised for shorting opportunities compared to others.
Okay, so you wouldn't be enthusiastic about the uptick that we see on HDFC Bank. It was just maybe a couple of rupees shy of an all-time high. You don't see that high being taken out, is it?
Perfect. Now again, the high which we saw was equal to 3rd July high, or in fact lower than that particular high, and that's the resistance zone which we have witnessed on HDFC Bank since almost 2 years, 3 years now. So yes, I think from here, if the market comes down, I'll be more keen to short HDFC, and I'll probably hedge that position with Kotak on the long side.
Okay, fair point. That's the view coming in. And are you also noticing Reliance? Reliance started with a downtick of 3 percentage points in yesterday's trade, and is now, surprise, trying to approach its 200-day moving average somewhere like 2866. We are already on 2559. How do you rank Reliance in terms of strength?
Sir, now 22nd July on the chart, you can see a major gap down on Reliance, and that day the Reliance closed that down by I think around 3.5%. Now, if you see that consolidation which is happening since then till now, the resistance is right at 3,070 to 3,075, and on the lower side we have a strong consistent support coming near 2910 to 2915 kind of levels. In fact, yesterday, day before yesterday's high is 3066, and right now it's trading at 2930 again. So this is a broader channel zone which is available for short-term traders. If someone wants to go ahead with long, this is the point to go ahead with long with 20 point stop loss, and on the higher side, once it reaches near that 3070 mark, I think that can be taken out. I mean, that can be an exit level. Unless these two levels are taken out, I will not be expecting a directional movement. But yeah, if the breakdown happens, it can be severe on Reliance.
Okay, fair point. And how about Bajaj Finance? In particular, I am sort of pressing you on Frontline Nifty counters, because this sharp move that started early 2 weeks ago seems to have either lost its momentum. Look at how Reliance is doing. But is there a cause for worry is what I wanted to know. And of course, Bajaj Finance, one of the stocks that has done phenomenally well over the last 1 month or so, but again much below its all-time high.
Absolutely, sir. So August 2024 counter was near to 6,500, and right now it's at 7,700. So this short-term rally was really remarkable. But now again, let's go back and check out on the chart, sir. That is on January 2022, counter was near to 7,775. After that, we saw September 2022. Again, it tumbled from 7,750. Third time July 2023, fourth time Jan 2024, and fifth time it's near to 7,700 again. It's very clearly a strong resistance. Now I'm sharing these data points so that our viewers can understand. So these are the levels which is 7,750 to 7,800, which is a strong resistance. So here we can expect two things. Number one is we expect the downtrend from here, and the second is if there is a breakout, then we expect a new rally. Seems as of now it's tired. One needs to be cautious.
Okay, so if you just get a drift of what Kunal's conversation is, that the risk reward ratio doesn't seem to be much in favor of the long side trade, and it's more or less sort of being seen across the markets. While you might not see a sharp dip on the Nifty just as you saw it yesterday, but that would be cautiousness on part of potential bears, because dips have been bought out very sharply. So let us see how it goes, but for the moment it's a more cautious thought process rather than any aggression that could be there on the long side. 245, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just take a detour into the market. I wanted to mark okay, National Aluminium. This is at a new high and a very sharp breakout today. Almost 1370 crores worth of transactions have been done. Kunal, is this a breakout that you would chase?
Absolutely, Shelsa. The breakout actually happened now again. 3 previous highs of around 210. We saw that breakout happening yesterday on the closing. That was at around 215 kind of levels. And today is a follow through, 225. So yeah, for the trend following, if someone wants to initiate trade with the stop loss of 215, one can initiate a buy. By any chance, if the counter comes down near to 220, which can offer very good risk reward ratio, I think with that level, keeping that level in mind and the stop loss of 215, one can definitely chase the momentum. Targets can be 245 to 250, but this is a positional target based on the weekly charts.
Okay, fair point. So that is the view that is coming in on National Aluminium. Remember, metals have had a very good time in the last 5-7 trading sessions, although if you look at the long-term charts, they've been terribly off given the weakness that we've seen in many PSU counters. But fresh moves coming in once the Chinese stimulus was announced mid last week, and that's the reason why you see a record high on Hindalco, on National Aluminium, the buzz that is there around NMDC, the move that is coming on Hindustan Zinc, Hindustan Copper, not to mention the 3 steel majors, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Steel Authority, Jindal Steel and Power, all of them showing enthusiastic trade. All of last week, the Nifty Metals Index was up about 4-5%, making it the top performer, and some of that remnant of strength is now still visible on the Nifty Metals Index. 248, let me just mark a bit of new highs, and then we will get to Asim. Asim, our colleague, has some very good news coming in for a particular stock which he shall be marking. Within the FNO space, National Aluminium has been touched upon. Polycab is up 5%, fresh record high 7300. Balrampur Chini 4% higher. That sweet flavor around festivities now coming back on Dalal Street. Good day for Britannia. Biscuit maker is doing phenomenally well, 6433. Tata Communications from the stable of Tatas is what will be talked about by Asim. We'll get to him shortly. Hindalco and ICICI Pro. These are the 7 stocks in the FNO space that have touched fresh record peaks. Asim is with us, and the topic of discussion will be Tata Communications. This is a chart that has done phenomenally well. A very deep seated company which is now at the forefront. Remember, all of India's deep sea submarine cables are owned by Tata Communications, which was earlier known as VSNL. Asim ji.
Thanks, Shalji. So the stock has hit a record high today. It reached rupees 2175 level, and it's a multi-bagger stock. It has risen 87% in 2 years and gained 492% in 5 years. The market cap of this stock has been trading about rupees 61,000 crore today, and it has gained 40% from this 52-week low of rupees 1543, which it hit on October 26, 2023. Currently, it's trading above all short-term and long-term moving averages. In terms of outlook of the stock, Shiju Kotak technical research analyst at Prabhudas Leeladhar said that the stock has maintained a strong uptrend, with recently giving a breakout above the resistance zone of 2080 levels to improve the bias further. He says that the stock is in a consolidation mode and a decisive breach above rupees 2,170 levels shall trigger for further fresh upward moves for the target of rupees 2,340 and 2,480 levels. He finds the support for the stock at rupees 2,080 level. And the RSI, he also adds that RSI is on the rise, indicating strength, and it has upside potential to carry on with the positive move further ahead. Another analyst who is registered with SEBI, he said that the Tata Communications stock price is bullish and but also overbought on the daily charts with next resistance at rupees 2,218. He said that investors are advised to keep booking profits as a daily close below the support of rupees 2100 could lead to a target of rupees 1893 in the near term. Another independent analyst said that technically the stock has had a very good run and can. He also said that it can stay sideways for some times before starting to rally again towards rupees 2500. He also added that any small correction would be a good opportunity to buy. Back to you, Shell.
Okay, Tata Communications, ladies and gentlemen, was purchased by erstwhile VSNL, a government of India company called Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, was purchased by the Tata Group in February of 2021. One of the bluest of the blue government entities at that point of time is now the crown jewel of the Tata stable, market capitalization at 61,000 crores, revenue at 21,000 crores in the past trailing 12 months, and earnings at about 919 crores over the last 12 months. Coming to you, Kunal, what are the charts of Tata Communications telling you? Look at the skyscraper like volume that you see over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions. What are the medium term charts of Tata Communications telling you?
Sure, sir. Now again, this counter is absolutely trending counter. In fact, this counter was a slow moving counter between September 2023 to August 2024. Though we saw the volatility and the trend was positive, but it was very slow moving. It has recently picked up its momentum by crossing all-time high. And in fact, as you rightly mentioned, the good volume was seen actually on 25th of September itself, where the counter went up by 5%. I think this is a fresh breakout on the daily chart also. Just one thing that's caution is that the counter is volatile, so our viewer needs to keep a little far away stop loss. As of now, the stock on the chart is around 1950. With that, one can initiate a trade, and the target can be 2400 to 2450 in the next 3 to 4 months.
Okay, and remember this, ladies and gentlemen, on Tata Communications, for the 10-year period, the stock has, of course, appreciated at a CAGR of 19%, but it hasn't sort of done any great shakes as far as its comparison with the BSE Midcap index is concerned. That's up 18%. But what needs to be noticed is that in the last 1 year, Tata Communications has appreciated 11%, underperforming the 52% rise on the BSE Midcap index. And let us see how it goes. But this is a stock that is a cornerstone of long-term portfolios and should be treated as such. Of course, the PE and the price to book are very, very expensive, but what is not expensive in this kind of a market? We'll try and get another fundamental view on Tata Motors. Please do consult an independent financial advisor if you sort of try to step into the counter. Okay, GNFC, this is a breakout that's happening on the charts. Kunal, what are the charts of GNFC telling you?
It's a very sideways counter. In fact, this counter was just asked by someone else also. But this counter remains sideways, consolidating counter. Look at the today's move out of blue. This counter has gone up by 3.5%. To be honest, still within consolidation. The highest breakout which I can see on the chart is around 730. As of now, if one wants to initiate the trade, I think that can be done above 705. With the stop loss of 675 and the first target being 735. Above 735, the next target can be 775. And if all these triggers happen, just have a look at weekly charts, sir. massive consolidation above 775, the counter can show us the levels of 875 to 900. Now, these all are step-by-step levels which we might just see. But for now, I'm just waiting for the trigger of 705. Above that, one can initiate a buy, and the stop loss will be 675 for the first trade.
Okay, fair point. This is 2:55 now. Before we bid you goodbye, Kunal, we have a holiday tomorrow, and of course, this is the beginning of October, the festive season ahead. For the remainder part of the year, maybe a sensible mid-cap counter, which you see gathering strength on technical charts and is good financially in terms of its P&L and balance sheet. What looks good? 6-month outlook on a particular stock in the mid cap and the small cap space, one each.
So honestly, Shell sir, as of now, I've just shortlisted one counter, and that's something which we discussed also, and that's Ramki Infra. The only reason being the order flow of the company is really good. Overall, financials are looking stable, and at the same time, look at the trend. Trend was very strong on the weekly chart. It has made double bottom formation. The breakout was at 655. It's available right now also after 2 months of consolidation at 675. I think it's offering good risk reward ratio for next 3 to 4 months, with the stop loss of positional stop loss now here of 625. One can initiate a buy. I think the previous high which we saw somewhere in January 2024, which were near to 950, I think those levels can easily be achieved on this counter. It can be a good positional trade, and definitely one more share which we will discuss probably in next 4 to 5 days. Whenever I come back again on the show, I'll be happy to share at that time.
Okay, so Ramki Infra, all-time high of 1008, 1009, that was seen on February 2nd of 2024. So we are actually 10 minus 2 at 8-month. I mean, the high was 8 months ago, the same day in February. Let me just see the financial performance of Ramki Infra. This is a counter which has corrected sharply. Okay, market capitalization of 4600 crores, top line of 2172 crores, and trailing 12-month earnings at profit after tax of 270 crores. What else makes sense? Okay. This has been a multi-bagger. Price earnings is 17 and price to book is 2.5. Okay, let's get Mr. Sudeep Bandhopadhyay, Group Chairman of IndiTrade Capital. Mr. Bandhopadhyay is a very well-known expert in the market and also a very dear friend. Namaste Sudeep ji, a very warm welcome, and what a pleasure to host you. Festivities are upon us. Next 2 days Durga Puja will start. Tomorrow is Mahalaya. What are the plans? What are you celebrating this year? Of course, you've made a lot of money for yourself and for clients as well at IndiTrade.
Good afternoon. I think pleasure meeting and interacting with you once again. I think आपने जो बाद में बोला ना, मैं आपके मित्र हूँ, वो बाकी मार्केट वो सब तो ठीक है. That is a better definition of me. हाँ बिल्कुल आप ठीक कह रहे हैं. हम लोग सब इंतजार कर रहे हैं for the festive season to set in. परसों से I think the Pitru Paksh ends tomorrow, and from day after Navratri starts. So the festive season in its right spirit is starting from 3rd October. अब देखिए पहले तो ये नवरात्रि, दशहरा, फिर दिवाली शुरू आ जाएगा. दिवाली के बाद we will wait for Christmas. So now next end December we have festive season in India. बहुत सारे चीज की उम्मीद है, जैसे FMCG में पिकअप, कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल्स में पिकअप, 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers में पिकअप, ये सारे चीज पे हम लोगों का ध्यान है. And we are expecting some good numbers from all this in second half of the current fiscal. देखिए फर्स्ट हाफ तक का तो हमने देख लिया बाय एंड लार्ज. नंबर्स ठीक ठाक थे, ऐसा कुछ बहुत इंप्रेसिव भी नहीं था, खराब भी नहीं थे. पर अभी टाइम आया है जबकि numbers have to pick up to justify valuation and command better valuation. तो वो स्टेज पे हम लोग पहुंच रहे हैं, तो इंतजार रहेगा पिकअप का, कंजम्पशन पिकअप का. मॉनसून ठीक ठाक हुआ है और रूरल डिमांड भी ठीक ठाक वापस आना चाहिए. So let's wait and watch.
Well, the festivities are upon us, and but Sudeep ji, Indian markets, especially the Nifty, is already having a great Diwali, a great Dashera, a great Christmas, much in advance. 21% on the Nifty in the last 9 months, minus the correction that you see over the last 2 or 3 days. But is enough? Or a lot of people, our common friends that I've been chatting with, are apprehensive. चुपचाप सब पैसा बढ़ा रहे हैं अपने पोर्टफोलियो में, प्रॉफिट बुकिंग दिख ही रही है हमारे सामने. मतलब जब स्टॉक प्राइस गिरेगा तो हवा में तो गिरेगा नहीं, एंड ऑब्वियसली वॉल्यूम एंड डिलीवरी आर ऑल्सो फॉलोइंग सूट. बट व्हाट इज योर गट फील फॉर maybe October and November? We have the US elections coming up. One, of course, major event is over, which is the Wall Street cut in interest rates. Do you see a cut in India as well? And how about cash levels? What's your gut feel?
Shalji, few things. One is, I think US we had seen the first interest rate cut. What I was reading about Fed Chair Powell's comments in the recent event post the cut, he's talking about, he's at least hinting about further cut of 25 basis points. So I think the interest rate reduction has just started in US. It has some more legs to go. As far as India is concerned, I think RBI will be a bit cautious now in October. The next policy, which is in December, I think we will see cut. RBI will like to see how inflation and the crop arrivals are, and post that they will take the call. So December is where I think they will start cutting. As far as Indian markets are concerned, liquidity is what has been driving Indian markets predominantly. And I think that liquidity is here to stay. On an incremental basis per month, about 50,000 crore money is coming from domestic sources. 25,000 crore through SIP. Another 25,000 crore is coming from HNIs, family offices, for the past 9 months. FIIs haven't been buying. FIIs have been, net sellers. In fact, leave aside the last few days. Of course, last couple of days they are again selling, but before that they were buying. But till about 8.5 months, for 8.5 months from January, they were sellers. So under the circumstances, domestic liquidity has sustained. Now I see distinct possibility of FIIs also buying. We did see that beginning. However, because China started giving stimulus, Chinese market suddenly, picked up, and some money was moved by FIIs from India, and I think they went and deployed in China. So some money moved out of India in the last few days. But I think on a steady state, India will continue to attract significant amount of FII flows as well. Now, these money flow will definitely ensure Indian markets retains its positive bias. Now, valuation, of course, in certain pockets, it's looking rich, and the scope for a significant upswing, upsurge from here is limited. But there are pockets where are opportunities available. So I would say it's not too bad as far as valuation is concerned. It's not too good. You have to be selective in picking up stocks. The last point I want to make is, yes, there will be volatility. Because now China has got into the act, and a lot of schemes and incentives are coming from Chinese government to kickstart the economy, and this will enthuse the global investors periodically. And once that happens, money may move to China, but eventually the long-term structural money will be in India, and that will continue to flow into India.
And markets always work on a relative scale. Here is the Nifty up 21% in the last week of September on a year-to-date basis, and here is the Chinese market doing nothing at all for the last many years. And you have the Chinese stimulus kicking in, plus the cut on Wall Street. So a sensible fund manager sitting in New York will obviously look at the risk-reward favoring China. and therefore you see this sharp burst of prices on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Remember, for the next 7-8 trading sessions, the Chinese markets are shut because of the New Year festival, and that will be one less worry that many people will have in terms of profit booking. Okay, 305 on the clock. Sudeepji, I wanted to take your view on two stocks, HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank. We are just waiting for the paint to dry, as is the most important facet of investing. You try and spend years and years and years, and then you get frustrated and you exit the stock, and next week it's up 20%. 4 साल हो गए सर HDFC बैंक और कोटक में, इस रात की सुबह कब होगी?
Well, you are absolutely right. That was this scenario. Is raat ki subah kab hogi? HDFC Bank, the pain started, I think, around the time the merger with HDFC Limited happened, and this pain had been going on for quite some time. Kotak, I think it was in a kind of a range for a very, very long time. Let me talk about HDFC Bank. I think that's more relevant here. I think it's a fantastic bank, and it's got a fantastic prospect. So for a long-term investor, I think, at 1,500 levels, it was a great time to buy. I had been recommending, and even at current level, 1,700 plus, I will also recommend for a long-term investor to buy HDFC Bank. Look, if you compare to the other sectors in the market, I think BFSI is still valued at reasonable multiples. HDFC Bank continues to remain a very strong, robust bank with a huge branch network. I'll tell you why am I focusing on this, because credit demand is strong, and when credit demand is strong, there is a need for deposit mobilization, CASA in particular. Now, low-cost deposit mobilization is going to be key for banks' performance going forward. Now, the banks with a strong relationship and retail network will be in a position to garner retail deposit in a cost-effective manner, which will ensure that their margins remain intact and keep up with the industry. I look at HDFC Bank in that bucket because they have a fantastic branch network, deep relationship with customers, and they should be in a position to garner deposits much better than some other banks which don't have that kind of network and relationships.
Fair point. And as they say, one of the biggest virtues in the world of investing is patience. But these days, Sudeepji, everybody wants patience very quickly, and they want results quicker. But these are bull markets, and there's a different generation that is now sitting on the driver's seat. People like you and me. You were saying something, sir.
Shalji, T20 is very interesting. But look at what is happening in tests now, 5-day tests. Every single test match, is being played is coming out with a fantastic result. So I won't discard the test matches too early.
Sudeepji, I think you are tempting fate. A test match lasts 5 days, and it's been 4 years for both HDFC Bank and Kotak shareholders. Please do not get it extended by 1 more year.
Yeah, I get the point. Yes.
Okay. Let us look at the undervalued part of the market, or relatively lesser valued part of the market, which is metals. Fantastic balance sheets at NMDC, NALCO, Steel Authority, Hind Copper, Hind Zinc. All of these counters came back to life last week after the Chinese brought back their biggest stimulus since COVID. Now, do you see these price upticks continuing? What would be your favorite stock in the PSU metal space and overall as well? Is NALCO still worth it at a record high, 225? Suddenly 180 and now 225?
A couple of things. One is, I think the metal rallies begin with US Fed cutting interest rate, because whenever US Fed starts reducing interest rate, it helps the metals and the rally therein. Now, it was a Goldilocks scenario for metals because After that came the Chinese stimulus. Now we all know China is the largest consumer of metals in the world, and Chinese stimulus ensures that the metal rally continues. So we are seeing a good rally kind of getting played out in front of us in metals, and it's backed by reducing interest rates in the US and incentives in China, stimulus in China. Now, while this is definitely good for metals, I would like to demarcate between different categories, ferrous, non-ferrous, and like to pick something which is, to my mind, a long-term structural change, and investors should ride on that. Look at aluminium. Now, please look at what is happening in the industries around us. Look at the transition automobiles are having to EV. Now, EV uses aluminium. They don't use steel. That's the transition. Look at the electronic equipments. Look at aircrafts. Look at pretty much everything which we see around us. Things are moving from other metals to aluminium, and the use of aluminium is increasing by leaps and bounds. So we believe that structurally, we are in a bull run for the entire aluminium value chain. Now, whether you look at Nalco, Hindalco, Vedanta, the entire thing we believe is getting into a positive territory for the foreseeable future. Now, I'm not talking about short-term fluctuations. It may come down tomorrow, it may go up day after. Those things will keep happening. But fundamentally and structurally, we are positive on aluminium and the value chain. So Nalco definitely, Vedanta definitely also has that corporate restructuring positivities around it. Hindalco well managed with the foreign subsidiaries. So I think this entire aluminium related companies are worth buying for long term.
Okay, fair point. That is a fairly strong disposition coming on the aluminium space. Sudeepji, how are you watching this turn of events in the PSU space? Widespread profit booking, momentum has been brought down to its knees. Erstwhile market darlings in defense space are licking their wounds. Railway is paused. PSU banks are quiet. In this sort of a scenario, this is a time when brilliant stock pickers such as you emerge, trying to get into counters which have corrected 35-40%. What would be your wish list on the long side?
Well, I think there are few sectors in the PSU basket which I've been advising everybody to get out for the last 6, 8, 10 months. One is the defense, the second is railways. No problem with the companies per se. The problem was with the valuation. The companies are doing good. They are getting a huge amount of orders. The performance have been by and large okay, but the valuation had reached a stage where it was looking very clearly overvalued, and correction was absolutely in the offing, and that's pretty much what has happened. However, there are pockets, as you're rightly saying, where I think I still believe that it's worth looking at. One is the power sector. We believe there is a structural change happening in the power sector. One is the transition from traditional energy to green energy. Second is significant increase in power demand because of electrification and use of more and more use of electricity as fuel. So the demand for traditional energy also has shot up. So while we see new thermal plants coming up, we also see huge amount of green energy capacity, wind or sun, being set up. So it's a Goldilocks scenario as far as power is concerned, and the entire power value chain, whether it's a power generating companies, power financiers, power equipment manufacturers, I think it's in a good spot, and it will continue for the foreseeable future. So I do like NTPC amongst the PSU basket. I've been liking it for quite some time. I like PFC, REC, IREDA. I think all these can be looked at from a long-term perspective. The only other company amongst the defense and defense-related space I will mention is Bharat Electronics, BEL. I think this is another company which has been performing very well. They supply defense electronics to Air Force, Army, and Navy. Also, they have started exports. Of course, those are restricted and regulated, but that has started. The balance sheet has been absolutely fine. They have been always performing very well. And I think after the correction, it does look good for a long-term investor's point of view. Last point I mentioned here is that PSU banks. I think
Yes,
there is
sir.
value there. There is value
Yes.
there, but one has to remember the dynamics which I was mentioning a bit earlier. That with credit demand growth and deposit mobilization becoming very, very critical, we have to see which of these PSU banks have the capability and the relationships to mobilize low-cost deposit to meet the credit demand. And that is a very difficult question to answer at this stage. That's the reason probably why people are flocking to, well-known private sector names who have a proven track record of deposit mobilization and, ensuring that the net interest margin, gross margin remains robust. So probably that's why we are seeing that at this stage. But if you are a bit aggressive investor, you want to take a risk, some of the frontline PSU banks definitely can be looked at because they are, attractively valued.
I would agree on BEL. This has been, as I've been saying for quite a while, one of the quietest overachievers that we have in our fraternity. Of course, now a part of the Nifty, and of course at 294 is actually a 1:1 bonus that you see on the charts. So definitely 600, but like I said, one of the quietest outperformers in the market. Not many people know that from the day BEL was established, it has never raised fresh capital. So from the meager savings that the government of India put into BEL, they continue, and all additions to capital have been either through bonuses or splits, no right even. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we are in the markets today. Strong moves coming into the broking space, and I've been rubbing my hands with glee because I know I'm now going to put Sudeep ji on the back foot. Why back foot? Front foot now. So SEBI didn't come out with anything last night, Sudeep ji. I am sure you all partied. All brokerage CEOs would have had a great party somewhere in Lower Parel ki bhai kuch samay ke liye musibat tal gayi, no cut in F&O volumes, and indices will remain the same. Brokerage guys are doing well. I see it, that smile on your face.
Well, Shelji, I think it is little celebrating before the understanding if that party had happened. I'll tell you the ground reality. This F&O related changes doesn't need to go to the SEBI board. This is within the executive power of SEBI. So it was never in the board agenda. So if somebody is partying there, they may end up regretting later. I believe personally, and I may be completely wrong, that somewhere separately and maybe very soon a SEBI circular or SEBI notification will come whereby the changes which they are seeking to bring on the F&O will be notified or codified. So it was never on the board agenda. So SEBI board was not expected to decide on this. This is an executive decision which SEBI will take. And Shelji, it is going to come. Every single authority, every single person, whether it's a government, central bank, SEBI, have spoken about the need to control this, unregulated or I shouldn't say unregulated, unbridled speculation. The data has come out continuously from SEBI showing how much money retail is losing by participating without understanding what F&O is. So SEBI is duty bound and they will do so.
I understand and appreciate what you're saying, Sudeep ji, but bear with me. Let me just read out the prices. Just hang on. Angel 1, 1.2% higher, 25.93. And remember, this is not an intraday. This is not. The stock was up 6-7% in the morning. Look at which one? Bombay Stock Exchange, 5% higher, sir. Circuit, 38.70. Look at CAMS, look at JM Financial, 2% higher on JM. CAMS is also doing well. KFintech, entire broking community is having a blast in the markets today at a time when you have broadly some kind of profit booking across the board. Okay, let me just look at KFinTech 11% higher, 880, no 1136. Let me look at IndiTrade. IndiTrade was also up in the morning. I distinctly remember remembering it. 1425, 2% higher. Okay, Geojit Financial Securities, ISEC, all in the green. Anyway, that's how markets have expressed relief. And you are right. I think some curbs need to be put into place, whether they are financial in nature by increasing the lot size, or they are regulatory in nature by reducing the number of weekly expiries and indices. They are coming. Maybe there is just a sharp relief, but it's inevitable. 320, Sudeepji, it is rare to have you. Now comes the most difficult part to for the market. 2 or 3 stocks which the research team at your end has finalized as Diwali picks, and of course something to be looked forward to in the rest of the calendar year and the financial year. 2 or 3 stocks that you can name.
A couple of stocks from the mid small cap universe I would like to mention here. One stock which we have identified and we like is IDFC First Bank. I think this is a bank which has been mobilizing deposits aggressively, and their deposit mobilization rate is probably double the rate of other established banks. So they are getting into a very good position to take benefit of this credit demand. So long-term investors should look at this bank definitely. Second, I would say is Sula Vineyards. Now, again, I think this is a category leader. Obviously, they have established a category and they control 50% plus market. Premiumization is helping them increase margins. Along with this, they have introduced wine tourism and set up and organizing that in a very, very structured and methodical manner. So again, Sula, we are expecting a significant upside from current levels. So from a slightly longer term perspective, investors should definitely look at investing in Sula. The third stock, which again we like, but it's already moved up a bit, but still from a long term perspective, is Vatek Wabak. Again, it's a unique company. It's a multinational water technology, and as we know, water is becoming a big issue world over. There are multiple things which they are doing. They are improving the product basket. The order flow is humongous, and they will continue to get that. So I think again, this is one stock which should be in an investor's portfolio for long-term perspective. There are your 3 stocks from a small mid-cap part of it. Sorry,
Yes. Please continue, sir. Please.
No, I was just mentioning that one can look at something from the large cap as well. We like the cement space. We like Ultratech Cement. We all know what's happening in cement. The competition between the Ambuja, ACC Combine and Ultratech. But I think Ultratech has handled it beautifully. They have gone on acquisitions and brownfield, greenfield expansion. So I think this is one company, and they're of course by far the market leader. They will continue to enjoy that dominance for a very, very long time. Cement demand is increasing. There is a significant tailwind, and we expect H2 of the current fiscal to be excellent for the cement companies. So Ultratech continues to remain my long-term pick. I also like Larsen. There's been a bit of correction here and there, but again, from a long-term perspective, it's a great buy. There is a significant tailwind here with construction, infrastructure getting boost in a big way from the capex plan and infrastructure plan of government. Apart from this, hydrocarbon capex in West Asia is helping them.
Fair point. And within the FMCG space, would you have anything that catches your fancy? We are sitting in the festivities upon us, and of course, a lot of prices have appreciated, in particular Britannia at a record high today. But any punts on this one?
We like Dabur and HUL because of the rural penetration they have. Both these companies have about 50% rural sales, and as we know, rural was subdued, and with good monsoon, and a lot of kind of support. Rural demand is coming back, and we believe that the second half of the year will be good for rural India. And under the circumstances, I think the biggest beneficiaries will be Dabur and HUL.
Okay, fair point. So Dabur and Lever is your top pick. 3:25 p.m. sir. Before we let you go, a couple of thoughts that you would have on interest rate cuts as far as the next 6 months are concerned, and of course the interplay between rate cuts in the US, where technically we've seen that it triggers a sell-off on Wall Street. How do you see that equation now panning out?
In India, we will see rate cuts definitely from December onwards. I expect 25 basis point initially, and then followed by another 25 basis point in this fiscal. So about 50 basis point cut is what I'm expecting in India. Look, inflation has already come within that RBI's tolerance band of 4%. It's below 4% now. RBI will watch it for some time, but I think it will start cutting rates in December. As far as US is concerned, I think they also will probably see one more rate cut before the end of their calendar year, which is their fiscal as well. So before December, another 25 basis point cut is what I'm expecting in US. Now this dovetails well with India's interest rate cuts. And I think RBI will, of course, keep watching what US Fed is doing. They have to do it because the currency value also is something which RBI watches like a hawk. As far as the impact of these on markets, I definitely believe BFSI will benefit. BFSI always does benefit when the interest rates comes down. The initial benefit flows to the smart NBFCs, and later on the efficient banks also start getting the benefit. So the immediate beneficiary of rate cut in India will probably be the NBFCs, housing finance companies, and the likes. Whereas by I think the fourth quarter of the current fiscal, we will see the benefit percolating down to other BFSI participants, including banks also.
Okay, with that, Sudeep ji, here's wishing you, your team at Indicap and everyone at home the best of Pujo. Mahalaya starts tomorrow, and Navratra on the day after. May the goddess bless us all with great returns, a lot of hope, a lot of his wisdom, and of course tons of patience. That's what everybody in markets needs, and none of us have. It was such a pleasure to host you, and let's hope we'll meet in person sometime in Mumbai later this month.
Look forward. Thank you, Sir.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, Managing Director at IndiTrade Capital, a very well-known market expert, and has a wonderful grasp on equities. Time now to start wrapping up the market. Well, 25,800 is with the bulls. That's good news. Let's look at what was the low of the Nifty today. This is something which is of critical importance. Just let me draw the chart right here in front of me. And the low, ladies and gentlemen, today, let me just allow me a bit of time because the screen is still forming. Okay, today's low was this, which is 25,740, and we are closing at 25,808. So 60 points is what the Nifty has taken back from the bulls. This is good news. 25,800 technically is also something that needs to be kept with the bulls. Now, what has helped the Nifty on its way up, which might be just 3 points, nevertheless that is something to be looked forward to. Infosys 27 points to Nifty's green total, M&M 17 points, ICICI Bank 10 points, Kotak 10, and Tech Mahindra 7. What has pulled down the Nifty? It's Reliance and Reliance alone, ladies and gentlemen. 21 points in the red because of Reliance. And that is the story. In terms of volumes, I would just mark a couple of names in the top traded list. I'm sure Reliance is the most active counter. Yes, 2400 crores. Yesterday's fall of 3%, about a percentage point today. Reliance is being used by smart traders to manage and massage the Nifty. The real story lies in other indices. I want to see what the small cap and the mid cap index have done. Okay, after 5 days of fall, the Nifty small cap index is up 0.8%. Advanced decline is a good 61:39. The mid cap index is up 1/3%. Advanced decline is negative 47:53. The NSE 500 is flat but in the green. This is good. The advanced decline is positive for bulls, 262 to 237. Overall, 1340 shares are in the green on the National Stock Exchange, 931. Has the trend changed? Is the dip being purchased into? Only time will tell, but remain glued to Business Today Television. The best of news post-market Mars will be upon you. Thank you so much for your time. We will now meet on Thursday. Tomorrow is a holiday, and enjoy the festivities.
Production linked incentive is one of the most successful programs that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has launched under the Make in India initiative, which we are celebrating 10 years in this week. We had estimated that in the 14 sectors, about 1,32,000 crores will be invested. But based on our repeated interactions, every 6 months DPIIT holds an interaction with all the sectors. Last 6 months ago, we had met in